a recent video I fitted a Midi Kit to the Korg Monotribe, and one of the things that allows me to do is now control the LFO and a few other parameters using Midi CC messages. Luckily Korg seems to quite like having digitally controlled LFOs, and I'm able to control some of the ones on the Volca Bass also by using the Midi CCs. I'm going to be looking at using the Arturia KeyStep Pro in order to sequence Midi CC changes and effect sequences as it goes along. Control mode changes the function of the 5 main encoders on the KeyStep Pro, and so instead of controlling the pitch, gate, velocity, etc. and the corresponding CV sent to the analog outputs, in control mode they send MIDI control change messages, enabling you to control the parameters of external hardware synths or Euro-Rec modules or VSTs within a DAW. When control mode is selected, the 5 main encoders send CC values. These CC messages can be edited using the display under Utilities. So if we go into the Utilities menu, go down to Controllers and then Knobs, we can set the CCs for each one that we want. I already have these set up. The CCs I'm using on the different knobs are the first 2 for the Monotribe, LFO intensity and LFO rate, and the next 3 for the Volca, LFO rate, cut-off intensity and gate time. We'll see how those can be added to the sequence, the control track, to change the sequence as it's playing. In control mode, a few features are disabled or work differently. Selecting a different track exits control mode. For example, though, the mute button will have no effect, and it will still continue to play MIDI CCs on the sequencer even with the normal track disabled. You save a control track the same way you save a normal track. MIDI CC messages have existed for over 40 years since the dawn of MIDI, but are still not widely used. By default, these encoders have their own settings, and I'll display those in a table at the end of the video. So how does it work? The pattern in the KeyStep Pro's control track runs in parallel with the normal track's sequences patterns. To record control changes in step edit mode, enter the control track for the track that you want, press pattern and step to select the pattern to record CC data into, ensure play is turned off, and turn on step record with step edit. Select the step you want to add CC data to, dial the encoder to the value you want, and you can see in the display on the value. These can be cleared just the same as clearing any other steps. You can either fill all steps with one load of CCs, and then go back and fill in the steps with the other CCs on a different knob, or you can do them both at the same time. Is going along. CCs can also be recorded in real time by selecting the control track and pressing record and play. Press stop or record again, it will stop recording. It will also stop recording when it reaches the last step of the pattern. We can listen to how that's affected the LFO intensity and the LFO rate of the Monotribe now. As well as recording CCs into a sequencer, they can be used in a more general way to set parameters in external synths. If you send a certain CC value in the first step of a pattern and there are no other values programmed into that pattern, then the initial value will be held throughout the pattern, which gives you the option of sending a new configuration at the start of every other pattern. Allows you to chain patterns that gradually open a filter at the start of each pattern. If you set different CCs to every step, then the looper, which also works in control mode, will also loop the values in that part of the sequence for some groovy effects. You can also program the looper to transmit Midi CC messages too, which is pretty cool. Now have a listen to the Volca Bass. Fairly simple, straightforward pattern. Using the last three knobs, which I've designated to LFO rate, cut-off intensity and gate time, we should be able to manipulate that pattern now. If we move on to track 3, we should be able to manipulate the CCs for the Volca Bass to allow us to play with the LFO rate, the cut-off intensity and the gate time. Again, there's 3 ways of entering this data, but I'm just going to go for real-time recording. Which allows for some variation there too. Can we listen to them all together? As before, just exit control mode by hitting the track number. Let's play those and see what effects it has.